This is something that you'd expect to see on TV, maybe in the movies. An accident victim rushed to the hospital. Doctors give him virtually no chance of surviving, and if by some chance he does, they say he'll never be the same. Nobody bothered telling that to Trenton Mckinley.
They told me I'd be a vegetable. I don't really seem like a vegetable, do I?
13-year-old Trenton Mckinley nearly lost his life 2 months ago, but not his sense of humor. Amazing, considering what he's been through. He was riding in a trailer behind a go-kart driven by a friend. They took a curve too fast, and the trailer toppled over.
It flipped, and my head hit the concrete, and the trailer landed on my head.
Your whole world just crumbles.
Trenton's mom, Jennifer, rushed to his side when he was airlifted to the hospital.
I had no idea how bad his injuries were.
They were bad. Jennifer says he had 7 skull fractures. The young boy once flatlining for 15 minutes. Jennifer was told to prepare for the unthinkable. She even signed papers allowing doctors to take Trenton's organs and then one final brain scan.
But Trenton had other ideas.
Defying any medical explanation, his hand moved, then his feet, and then he opened his eyes. The family believes it's a miracle.
God's got something big planned for that little man.
Have you ever wondered what really happens after we die? Not what movies show, not what theories suggest, but what actually happens when the soul leaves the body. What if death is not the end, but a doorway? Today, I want to tell you one of the most shocking, emotional, and mysterious real-life stories ever recorded. A story that left doctors speechless. A story that shook a hospital. A story that made millions stop and ask one question. What if Jesus is real, and heaven is closer than we think? This is the true story of a boy who died. His parents agreed to donate his organs. Doctors prepared his body, and then he came back. His name is Trenton Mckinley. This story might change the way you see life, death, and eternity. Trenton Mckinley was just 13 years old. A normal boy, a son, a brother, a child with dreams, laughter, and a future, until one ordinary day turned into a nightmare. It happened in Alabama. Trenton was playing outside with a friend. There was an accident involving a trailer. In seconds, everything changed. The impact was devastating. Trenton was thrown. His skull was crushed. 7 fractures to the head. By the time paramedics arrived, his condition was critical. He was rushed to the hospital. Doctors fought to save him. Machines were attached. Surgeries were performed. But the damage was severe. Doctors soon told his parents words no mother or father ever wants to hear. He is brain dead. They explained that Trenton had no brain activity, no hope of recovery, no chance of waking up. They said he would never speak again, never move again, never breathe on his own. To the world, Trenton was gone. His mother, Jennifer Randall, stood by his bedside. She watched the machines breathe for him. She watched her son lying there silent. And then came the hardest decision of her life. Doctors asked about organ donation. If Trenton was truly gone, his organs could save other children. After tears, after prayers, after heartbreak, his parents said yes. They chose to turn tragedy into life for others. They signed the papers. Trenton was officially declared dead. The process began. And then, something happened that no one could explain. As doctors prepared to remove the breathing tube, Trenton moved. At first, they thought it was reflex. But then he moved again. Then he opened his eyes. Monitors began to change. Heart rate, breathing, response. Doctors froze. Nurses rushed in. The boy they had declared dead was alive. Medical staff were stunned. This was not supposed to happen. They stopped the procedure immediately. Trenton was rushed back into intensive care. And slowly, impossibly, he began to recover. Within days, Trenton was breathing on his own. Within weeks, he was talking, walking, laughing. The doctors could not explain it. Medical science had no answer, but Trenton had one. Because while his body lay lifeless, he said he went somewhere else, and someone was there waiting for him. When Trenton finally regained enough strength to speak, his family noticed something different. He was calm, peaceful, changed. There was no fear in his eyes. One day, he looked at his mother and said something that made her heart stop. "Mom, I know where I was." She listened carefully. He told her that when his body stopped working, he left it. He said he could see his own body from above. He watched doctors working on him. He saw his parents crying, but he wasn't scared. Then everything changed. He said he felt himself being pulled upward, not falling, not floating aimlessly, but guided. He said he went to a place filled with light, a light so bright, yet gentle, a place filled with peace. And there he met Jesus. Trenton said Jesus spoke to him, not with anger, not with judgment, but with love. He said Jesus told him, "You can stay, or you can go back." Trenton said heaven felt like home. He didn't want to leave. He said there was no pain, no fear, no sadness, only peace. But he said Jesus explained something important, that his family still needed him, that his life had purpose, that he had a story to tell. And then Trenton was sent back to his broken body, back to the hospital, back to life. Doctors were shocked by his recovery. They called it a miracle. Brain scans showed damage that should have left him permanently disabled. Yet Trenton showed no cognitive impairment. He remembered everything. He functioned normally. Even the surgeons admitted they had never seen anything like this. Medical journals documented the case. Still, no explanation. Trenton didn't care about the science. He cared about the message. He began telling people what he saw, what he felt, what he heard. And one detail shocked everyone. Trenton said that while he was in heaven, he saw children who were sick, children who were hurt, children who were scared. And Jesus was with them, comforting them, holding them, protecting them. Trenton said heaven is real, Jesus is real, and death is not the end. His mother later said something unforgettable. "I believe Trenton was meant to die that day, so others could live, and maybe so the world could hear his story." Some people try to dismiss stories like this. They say it's imagination. They say it's hallucination. They say it's the brain shutting down. But here's the problem. Trenton described events that happened while he was medically dead. He described things he couldn't have known, and doctors confirmed the timeline. His brain activity was gone, yet his awareness remained. How do you explain that? And even more, his life changed completely. He became kinder, more loving, more aware. He lost his fear of death. He gained a deeper understanding of life. And he said one thing again and again: Jesus is real. This story reminds us of something powerful, that life is fragile, that death is not final, that love is eternal. Jesus once said, "I am the resurrection and the life. Whoever believes in me, though he die, yet shall he live." Trenton lived that verse, not as a metaphor, but as a reality. His story echoes what many throughout history have whispered, that beyond this world, there is another, that beyond pain, there is peace, that beyond death, there is Jesus. So what do we do with a story like this? We can ignore it, or we can listen, because maybe this story isn't just about Trenton. Maybe it's about you. Maybe it's a reminder that your life matters, that your pain has meaning, that your story isn't over, that Jesus is closer than you think, and that no matter how dark the night feels, there is light waiting. If this story touched your heart, share it with someone who needs hope. And remember this: death is not the end. Heaven is real, and Jesus is waiting. Thank you for listening.